I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you are one of my regular followers. And if you are new here, a very big welcome to you. And if you've not seen me before, I try to present astrology in a easy, digestible fashion so that we can all get some understanding and benefit out of what the cosmos offers us in terms of transits and energies. Now, I'm here today to talk about the full moon in Cancer. And it's on the 26th, 27th of December, depending on your location on the planet. So what do we know about a full moon in Cancer? I mean, it falls, of course, just after we've had Christmas. So how does this affect it? Because it means the sun is in Capricorn, because a few days before we had the winter solstice, when the sun moved into Capricorn. So the sun is now in Capricorn. Now the moon and the sun are at 4 degrees and 58 minutes. The moon in Cancer is very comfortable. This full moon is encouraging you to relax. Remember, Cancer represents the home, it represents family, it represents our ancestry. Interestingly, the moon is in an outer sign conjunction with an asteroid known as Vesta. And Vesta was the chief priestess of what was known as the Vestal Virgins. But Vesta was a little bit more than this, because Vesta was actually also known as Hestia. And Vesta or Hestia are known as the goddess of hearth and home. So how interesting that Vesta has turned up to be in an outer sign conjunction with this full moon. You know, I think it's interesting because Vesta is actually in the sign of Gemini. And both of them are, of course, in opposition to the sun. Vesta and the full moon are also in opposition to an outer sign conjunction between Mars, our planet of action, energy, assertion, war, arguments. Anyone have any arguments over Christmas? It's usually a good time for tempers to get fraught because things aren't going the way that was planned. These are the kind of things that go wrong over the festive season. And so you've got actually Mars is conjunct retrograde Mercury in Sagittarius. How cool is that? How really very challenging and difficult has that perhaps been, or is it going to be? Now, a full moon really brings an end to something. It brings the conclusion to something. So it may be that the Christmas period, and depending, of course, when you're watching this video, because this video is going to be uploaded before Christmas. And perhaps at this point, I should actually get Techie Jerry to magically produce our chart. Just like that. And so you can see what is going on in this full moon in Cancer. It's quite interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of emphasis on good quality communication. Well thought through communication, not knee-jerk communication from retrograde Mercury conjunct Mars, because that can trigger emotional outbursts, emotional kind of reactive behavior. It can trigger arguments. disputes, disagreements, and hopefully the full moon brings closure to that. But what of Vesta? Because Vesta, as I said, is also part of this equation. Well, I think because this full moon is in Cancer, which represents the home, and Vesta, as Hestia, represents hearth and home, this is actually about, home. There was a television program, I think, called in England, called Home is Where the Heart Is. And, home is where the heart is, wherever your home is. And sometimes home is our safe place, which isn't necessarily inside a solid building. It could be out there under the stars, in a log cabin, in a back garden shed. And so, there's something about this full moon to me that suggests a need to kind of back off a bit from all the pressure of perhaps what happens around Christmas, friends, family, the, in-depth questioning with people that you haven't seen for some time, family members, what are you doing? And they don't really listen to the answer. And then you get yourself all tongue-tied thinking, well, I don't really know why I'm bothering to explain. So there's something about a need for aloneness with this full moon, to me. Now, Venus in Scorpio is actually, Venus, remember, is our planet of love, relationship, self-worth. And of course, it's also about finance, money. And it's sextiling, which is a helpful aspect, Pluto in those last degrees of Capricorn. Pluto is now at 29 degrees and 12 minutes. It doesn't slip in or dip its toes in to Aquarius until the end of January, and then only for 2 or 3 months before it shifts back into Capricorn to tidy up, and then it will finally at the end of November move into Aquarius. Unpredictable and innovative, inventive Aquarius. I cannot tell you how much this energy is over time going to affect all of us and the planet. So Venus in Scorpio sextiling Pluto is kind of imploring us to actually to build the bridges that have broken down in certain relationships. Christmas and New Year are a really good time to try and make amends where we've fallen out with people, become distant. So bear that in mind around the energy of this full moon, because what I also want to go on to talk about is that the full moon in Cancer is trining Saturn in Pisces. Now remember, Saturn is about, it's about structure, it's about timing, it's about taking our time, and it's in Pisces where there is no time and there are no boundaries. Pisces, my oceans of emotions. And I am going to go through your individual signs, and I'll try not to leave any out this time. I will go slowly. I will do what Saturn is requiring all of us to do in whatever it is that we feel may need some healing in the terms of relationships, there is something about the energy of this full moon which is about the timing and the slowing down. Because another incredibly important astrological shift takes place later today with Chiron, our space object from the group of space objects known as the centaurs. Chiron is the chief centaur, and Chiron is about healing. Chiron today, on the 27th, goes direct. It's been retrograde in Aries for a long time. So what do we make of Chiron going direct? Because it's actually it's making a trine to another dwarf planet called Ceres in Sagittarius. And Ceres is about reaping the reward, gathering in the harvest. It's a little bit, it even looks, the symbol looks like a scythe where we would cut down the hay in the fields in the olden days. Well, not in my olden days because I'm not that old. But I do remember that my father in the garden shed had a scythe. So we must have used them in the 50s and 60s. Wow. I mean, it might have belonged to his father and he kind of inherited or took it on. But I do remember we had a scythe. I don't know what he cut down with it. Who knows? I cannot remember that. But Chiron is about healing. We all have an inner wound, something that seems to never heal. And sometimes it flares up. I mean, let's, I overshare. So let's use the analogy of the fact that I have a back problem, which means I have a problem with my spine. I have a problem with trusting support. I have a problem with being, and listen to this because it may also resonate for you if you are having or have had back problems. It's like literally not feeling supported. And yet I know on a conscious level that's not true. I have a great team and I have lots of people that have my back. But somewhere inside, and I give this to you because maybe this is what you do, that inner child doesn't feel supported. So think about it, because these thorns in our side need to be healed at some point. And the fact that Chiron goes direct today is, I think, a very positive sign. And, it's interesting. I'm thinking of a little note to self that for me, surgery will be better beyond Chiron going direct. So I'll have to check my chart out. And, when I've had the surgery, and just for you to be aware, I don't know when it is yet. It could be January, February, March. I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later. Please do not worry if you have sessions booked, because my lovely team, Penny, will be in touch with you to rearrange. And I'm hoping that when I do have this particular surgery, which I'm not even sure now what it will contain, because I will be recovering at home, I will still be able to sit here, do my sessions and talk to you and do my videos. Not straight away, obviously, but hopefully I will not be removed from your sight for too long. But I use this analogy because look, and that was what I was going to say. After after I've recovered or in recovery, I will do a video about the astrology of what has brought me to this point to help you understand the impact that planets like Saturn can have on us, because Saturn is the planet that is the big player in my life currently. But let's come to that when I get there. And it's interesting also, I'll give this to you, because I found myself yesterday saying, but I'm running out of time, I'm running out of time. I've got to get everything done, I've got to get everything done. And then I thought, what message am I giving the universe? What message am I giving the universe? And I stopped as soon as I became aware of it. The funny thing was, my Apple Watch, just advertising Apple, maybe they'll give me a new one. Apple, 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 I'd love a new watch. I'll support you. That's a free advert for them. I'd forgotten to put it on. And it had the effect of making me feel totally out of control. Well, this is Saturn's domain. And Saturn is actually trining this full moon in Pisces. Sorry, in Cancer, because Saturn is in Pisces. And Saturn is trining the full moon in Cancer. It's saying it's time. It's time with family. It's time with people in your life that are like family to heal the wounds that Chiron may have recently exposed. I hope all this kind of resonates or makes some kind of sense for you. Because, you know, we have to have faith in the divine pattern that allows the healing and the forgiveness of not only others, but of the self. Who are we the hardest taskmaster to? Us. Me, I. You to you. So I just want to look at one more transit before I go on to your individual zodiac signs. And I know that I've let this, this has gone on quite a long time, but I felt it was important to say what was coming in. And by the way, if you can hear any disturbance on the sound level, it's because Gozo today has extremely strong, absolutely gale force winds and absolute roaring rain, and it's beating against the windows of my apartment. So every now and then you might hear a whoosh, and so that's what it is. No, I just want to talk about Venus also is trining Neptune in Pisces. And sometimes we forget about Neptune because Neptune is in the sign it rules. Neptune trining Venus, also in a water sign currently in Scorpio, but in opposition to the sign it rules, Taurus. This can bring, because Neptune can be illusion, confusion, delusion, those kind of feelings. It can also be medicines and poisons and mind-altering drugs and all of those kind of things. This is a trine. And with this full moon, what it's saying is, what habits do you need to close? Do you need to change? What even ways of thinking do you need to let go of? Thinking of that Vesta in Gemini. What can you personally change in your life that would be very constructive for you going forward with this full moon? So on that note, the wonderful Jerry is going to make the chart magically disappear. Whew, there it goes. I love Techie Jerry. I love Team Penny. I've got a wonderful team. I'm ever so lucky. Listen, let's get on to your individual signs, because I know you want to know what area of your life to expect this full moon energy to be operating in. Let me have a sip of my water before I begin. You might notice that I have to use two hands to pick up my glass. This is because I will tell you, because sometimes it looks as if I've got Parkinson's because the hand's going. One of the medications I'm on to try and stop the pain from the nerve pain in the sciatic area it's a neurological. So it's a neurological drug that tries to give the signal to the brain that the nerve doesn't hurt, or doesn't hurt as much as it does. So it has a side effect, which is I seem to get this shaky hand. So I just throw that in so that you know that there is nothing else wrong with me. Oh my goodness, Team Penny are going to hate me today. They're going to say, oh my God, Penny, all you did was go on about yourself. But you know, I trust these things, because maybe what I'm saying is that all of you need sometimes to tell your story. Does anyone listen to your story? It's terribly important. So just think about that, because sometimes even in our relationships and partnerships, we ask the question and we just vacantly drift off about something else whilst the answer is being given. So maybe there's also something about paying attention with this full moon and stopping, using it as a stop. Stop not listening. Use active listening. Right, let's move on. Oh, and Techie Jerry will be doing the timestamps, but I know Jem loves doing them. So does Trish the Navigator, and I think Laurie does sometimes. So bless you, all of you. Techie Jerry will do his best to do them as well. So let's start. Aries. For you, Aries, 4th house, because Cancer is the 4th house. So you have a double level or layer of Cancer energy. So with this energy in your 4th house, what I feel it's telling you is it's very much about it is so much about home. It feels as if you're all the time looking over there, looking outside, or looking to see if the grass is greener somewhere else. Do you see how off-putting it is if I don't look at the camera, if I talk to the blank wall over there? That is what it's like. Aries, start listening to your nearest and dearest. Listen to the answers. Look them in the eye. So many people are so frightened to have eye-to-eye contact. It's not something we are comfortable with. And it's something that can really be life-changing in any relationship. And remember, Aries, the 4th house is about home and family. Whom is the family member you need to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with, and really listen, and give them the gift of the attention of your gaze. It's, you can't hide what is behind the eyes. Once we really look at someone, whatever comes out of our mouth, we will know if it is not true, if it is not the truth. And don't forget, Aries, in the 9th house for you of this chart, you've got Mars and Mercury conjunct. Mercury is retrograde, so Mars and Mercury are doing this. They're getting closer and closer. This is something about higher learning, education, travel. You're going too fast, is what I want to say, Aries. Think of Saturn in Pisces in this chart that is really asking you to slow down, because the chance for relationships to heal comes from giving them time. Time is our most valuable commodity. I learned a big lesson yesterday when I forgot to go out wearing my watch. I have to let go of time. And maybe that's what all of us have to do to a certain degree. Let go and let God. Get out of our own way. So try that, Aries. Right, let's move on to Taurus, because Taurus, for you, this is in your 3rd house of communication. Well, your 3rd house of communication. This is about communication and talking, most definitely. And also, I think there's something about I think you're going to be very busy locally with organizing things, talking about things, getting things in place, sorting things out. It feels as if you've got quite an agenda, Taurus, that you have to arrange, and maybe that you have to arrange in a little bit of a short time. And this full moon somehow brings the answers, if you like, that you've been waiting for. And there's something here about home and nurturing, how you nurture yourself, how you look after yourself, and also the need for Taurus, who are quite stubborn and fixed, to ask for help when they need it. I mean, none of us are very good at asking for help in general, but Taurus, sometimes it doesn't pay to be so fixed and stubborn. You really need to be able to take that step back and ask for help. This full moon is giving you a green light. Aries were getting the red light to stop doing certain things. And Taurus, you're getting a green light. Go ahead, do what you're going to do. Are you going to be writing? There's something here in this full moon, because I'm looking at Vesta in Gemini. You're going to be doing a lot of writing, a lot of creative work. That's what I'm picking up. And this could be the end of one particular way of doing things and finding a new and better way to do it. Now, let's move on to Gemini, because Gemini, for you, this is your 2nd house of finance, economy. It's how you make your money. So how do you make your money, Gemini? How do you exist? I mean, it's always an interesting thought, isn't it? And Gemini, as an air sign, Do you overthink your financial status? Because here you are with watery Cancer in your second house. And do you drown a bit in your financial situation sometimes? Do you get a little bit kind of overwhelmed by what's going on with your finances? Because I think this full moon, especially as it's conjunct Vesta, which of course is in your first house, Gemini, so it's an out of sign conjunction, is saying just take your time to bring some order to your home and family. It feels as if you've been running at the speed of light, Gemini. Running, absolutely exhausting yourself. So again, slow down, Gemini, because this Mars, Mercury retrograde in your 10th house of business is really asking you to be a little bit careful with whom you work with. Don't take it out on people at work. Don't say it when it's actually projection that belongs to somebody at home. I hope that makes sense, Gemini. Right, let's move on to Cancer, because Cancer, this is your full moon. And it's in, of course, your first house. So it's very much about how you're feeling and how you're responding to this energy, because the sun opposite in your 7th house, Capricorn, it sheds light on your relationships. So it's interesting, isn't it? You have the sun in Capricorn saying, you know, there may have been tough times. There may have been hard times. This is a time to forgive and forget and let go. There's something about a recognition in you, Cancer, with this full moon, that the most important things are what you can see, feel, hold and touch. And especially the love of your family, of your close family, of your parents if you still have them. There's something about the need to connect and really feel held by that energy. And if you don't have any family, close family, then Cancer, you know, all you have to do is go within and find that inner parent that can give you the backbone represented by Capricorn in your opposite sign, to give you the structure and the ability to move forward slowly and come out of a period of time which may have been quite challenging for you. Okay, so let's move on to Leo. Leo, 12th house. Well, you know, Leo, this is where you can feel quite over-emotional. You can suffer from exhaustion in this part of the chart. You can feel imprisoned. Sometimes you are the jailer and have the key. It can even represent hospitalization or just being absent from what you normally do for a while, taking time out, taking time off. The Mars Mercury, retrograde Mercury in your 9th house, conjunct the sun in your, in Capricorn is, it's your 5th house and your 6th house, just getting things muddled up. You know me, I make mistakes, but I correct them and I don't edit them out. So Leo, right, because I'm looking at a dial and I'm going around. It's a bit like, as I said, opening a safe. You have to wait for the bits to click into place. So yes, of course, the Sagittarius is your 5th house, Leo. Capricorn is your 6th. And this full moon is in your 12th house. So what this means is you've got this axis of health issues that could come up for you. They're not necessarily physical. They can be psychological. If they are psychological, Leo, then what you need to do is take the advice of Saturn and take time out. Slow down. Take time out and think about things in a rational and sensible way. And take care of that inner child. You know, Leo, if you have no close family, like, I know a lot of you that watch my channel are in the same or similar age group to me, which means you're orphans. You have no mummy and daddy because they died, because that's what happens. And if you have, wow, that is incredible. But it could also be very difficult because you have to care for them, and that can be hard work when we're older. But Leo, what are you feeling in such a hurry about? Be like the big cat that you are. Cats are very clever. They wait. They bide their time. So we're back to Saturn. We're back to Saturn in the final degrees of Capricorn, which is your 6th house. We're back to you taking time out to get, I think I used this analogy last time, your kittens in a row. We all know about ducks in a row. Well, what about your kittens in a row? Get your little kittens in a row. I think that's quite cute. So you need to get your kittens back in the nest and have a look at what's going on with them. And this metaphorically is this kind of playful, childlike part of you that we've not seen much of. Leo, let go a bit. Let go. LG, as I've said before in many videos. Let go, let God. Let the divine in. Because as much as you may feel nobody has your back, they do. And I'll tell you who the most important one, and you know what I'm going to say. The most important one, energy, that has your back is the divine. She, he, they, these wonderful entities, these energies of light, these soul path teachers, they have your back. Don't forget that. Let's move on to Virgo. So Virgo, let's see, for you, it's in your 11th house. Now, of course, this is the house of, it's the house of the community at large. It's quite interesting, Virgo, because it's Cancer. And you are a born carer. You are a born nurturer. And there's something here about your need to let go of some of that for just a while. and stand back and review how much you've helped and cared for others this year in your locality, in your community at large. You know, every kind effect we have, every kind gesture we make has a ripple effect. You know, like the butterfly that takes off in the Philippines and creates a thunderstorm on Easter Island the next day. There's a ripple effect that never goes. Every kind act, and Virgo, you are very good at these kind acts, has that ripple effect. There is something here about you needing to stand back and actually give yourself a little bit of credit, Virgo. You've done okay. I think you can look back this year and think, all right, there have been parts that have been very tough. I'm not denying that. But I do think you've also come a long way. Let's move on to Libra. And I think Libra was the sign I forgot for the new moon, or it was Virgo. In the end, it all got a bit confusing. And I did a separate video for Libra, but I'm now going to do Libra now in here. So Libra, it's in your 10th house. This is your career path. The full moon in Cancer in your career path, in the house that is opposite to the house that by traditional zodiac equal house system is a Cancer house. So you've got this kind of, I always think of it and I say, it's like layers of onions. So you've got your Cancer house down here, but it's actually your Cancer house up here in the 10th house. So Libra, this is about you bringing to conclusion some project you've been working on. And it's to do with the home and family. Maybe it's I'm thinking of that Vesta in Gemini. I'm thinking that there is something here about the need to have more communication with family, to mend some bridges. This energy would be really good for that. And also, whatever it is that you feel is your soul path, your life's journey, is what you're meant to be following. And it's also about not riding roughshod over those that stand in your way, but actually listening more to others. There's something here about the need for you, Libra, to be more nurturing. Remember, Venus, that is currently in Scorpio, is your ruling planet. Venus is trining Neptune, and it's squaring Saturn. The trine to Neptune is saying, let the scales fall away from your eyes. Let's see more clearly through this mist and confusion and illusion and illusion. Take your time, Libra, but I think there are wounds to be healed. Okay, let's move on to Scorpio. And if you hear my voice raising and getting louder, it's because the storm that is currently raging outside, it's not thunder, it's just torrential rain. It's like a monsoon. So I do apologize for any disturbances in the sound quality. So Scorpio, it's in your 9th house. This is the part of your chart to do with higher education. It's also to do with travel, but it's also these higher frequencies that we tune into. This is where you can connect with these frequencies that actually, it is like the non-physical beings that I talk about, that a lot of people are now talking about, channelers, astrologers. There's just a tsunami of light coming from these kind of, I would call them Sagittarius and Aquarius realms, and coming from the kind of Orion area and Sirius. So this energy is coming in fast and sort of, well, just fast and quick. And Scorpio, you too need to open up to it. Stop getting caught in the pit of looking for it's like you're looking for the answer in the muddy pit. Look up. Look up. Your answer is up there. It's not down there. Now, let's think about this Chiron, which is going direct today, because Chiron is making this, it's making a trine to Ceres, which is about the scythe, you remember, reaping the reward of the harvest. You've been working very hard, Scorpio, on learning something of great value. Now is the time to get more structured about it. Remember, we've got the full moon, or the sun in Capricorn, sextiling Saturn. So, and the full moon is trining it. So it's asking you to take your time and start thinking about how you promote yourself, how you follow your path, your dream, and you will be helped. There will be these frequencies that you will be able to tune into that will assist you. So how cool is that? Anyway, let's now move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, my centaur. So Sagittarius, you are, this full moon is in your 8th house. Now this, of course, is about transformation. Your ruling planet Jupiter in Taurus is sextiling Saturn in Pisces. So it's also telling you, because Sagittarius, you rush ahead at everything. You overthink it, you overdo it, you try and do everything at once. Stop it. Slow down. Or the cosmos will slow you down. Because this Saturn in Pisces is not going to take any prisoners. And so this sextile to Jupiter is like, you have to, Sagittarius, you really have to put some boundaries into this fiery energy of yours, because it feels as if it's all over the place, and it's going to affect, it's something to do with, on a very mundane level, so on a high level it's transformation. On a mundane level, it's to do with joint finance, assets, wills, legal stuff, anything to do with probate, all those kind of things, money owed to you, property that is jointly owned. These are the kind of areas that this full moon is saying it might take time, but it's worth the wait, and the healing that can come through it with others that may be involved in all of this will be phenomenal. So let's move on to Capricorn, because Capricorn, this of course is your 7th house of significant relationships. So does this mean a relationship is ending? Well, with the other energies that are in this full moon, yes, it could. It could bring a conclusion to something, but I think that there might be cross words and harsh words. So it may be that a situation ends on a not very good note. The healing will take time. It will, there's some unexpected twists and turns to do with relationships. That's all I can say. And Saturn in sextile to the Sun in Capricorn is saying, just take your time, be patient. So this is a pattern that it's a repeating pattern. And once you're able to recognize that, you're able to stand back and see the damage that it's caused in its true light. Now, for those of you that are in relationships that are good and are going well and don't seem to have any problems, I do not mean that every single Capricorn in a relationship that it's going to end. So please do not overhear this or misunderstand or filter out what I'm now saying. This is for a relationship that might already be a little bit shaky. This full moon will bring it to a close. If you are in a good, solid relationship, in fact, the opposite can happen, that a commitment is made. And that commitment brings healing to you that you didn't expect. That was completely unexpected. That is why it's always important not to jump to conclusions when we hear just a little bit of information. It's like Chinese whispers, isn't it? So just bear that in mind, Capricorn. Listen to the whole story. Whatever he, she, they say, listen to the whole story, because there is something very much in the configuration of this full moon that is about relationships. Let's move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, right. So for you, it's in your 6th house. Now, traditionally, this is the house of service to others. It's also the part of the chart that can be about your daily routine. It can also be about your health. This could be about your psychological health. Because with Capricorn in your, 12th house, and Aquarius, Cancer in your 6th house. So, getting it all wrong again. Capricorn in your 7th house. No, forget it. Let's just pretend this is an edit and I'll start again. So Aquarius, this is in your 6th house. Don't you just love it when I go wrong? Doesn't it just show you that? So let's take this, because I did this before. When I made a mess of something before, I thought, let's leave it in and see if this is in some way a message for the sign that I'm reading. Aquarius, are you trying to be too correct and ordered about something? Are you trying to be too structured about something? You know, this is the energies of Cancer and Capricorn. So we have to think about this energy that is being pulled in, because don't overthink any situations that are not flowing too well. I think you're going to be feeling, Aquarius, a little bit trapped, a little bit cornered by certain events. It could be that there are those around you who are having some difficulties, some problems. And it's like you just want everything to be lovely and happy and jolly for Christmas and New Year. And oh no, that's spoilt everything now. And it's spoilt the layout of the table. Don't sweat the small stuff, Aquarius. You know, you're quite lucky. You're sort of getting away with it with this full moon, I think. I think the only problems you will have is what goes on in here. Don't overthink it. Get out of your own way and be kind and be something you're not. Be flexible. Remember, you're fixed. Try and find one area of your chart that is flexible and be flexible. Okay. Lesson over, including unedited. So let's move on finally to Pisces, my oceans of emotions. Oh, Pisces, my lovely fishes. Oh dear, let's see if I can get your reading right for the full moon in Cancer. I'm not doing too badly. I only kind of messed up twice, but hey, I'm only human. And, you know, I just don't want to give Techie Jerry too much work with edits and things at the moment. So Team Penny are just, you know, Team Penny have issues as well. So we have to just sometimes be personally mindful of that. So Pisces, right, it's in your 5th house of fun. Actually, Pisces, I think because you have been through a tough time. I mean, all the signs have been through some pretty tough times. The whole year has not been that easy. It really hasn't. And it's almost ending with a kind of a grand finale and sort of, you know, a ta-da. And for you, Pisces, with this full moon in the house of fun, which is also the house of entertainment and creativity and children, I think, Pisces, in all seriousness, you do actually need to have some rest and relaxation. I think you've been having a really tough time. And actually, I mean, I don't even have to be an astrologer to know this, because I have several friends who are Pisces who have really been going through it. Not that other signs haven't, because I know other signs that have also really been going through it. But Pisces, I think this full moon sees a conclusion to one area of confusion and just the being uncomfortable and not happy with the way things are, because, you know, Pisces, Neptune is in your sign, and remember, Neptune is actually making a well, it's making this trine to Venus in Scorpio, and so it's actually saying, use your imagination, be a little bit creative. If you have creative skills, and a lot of Pisces do, sing that song, be in that film, make a video for can't even say it, TikTok, make a video for TikTok, make a reel for Insta, do all those things, be yourself. Pisces, with this full moon, I just want to say, have some fun. Because all the other stuff is going to take a bit more time to resolve. It's not going to be resolved overnight. So I'm sorry about that, but it won't be. So you really do need to just take a step back. But I think it's really important at the moment, Pisces, to find that part of you that is creative. So, you know, if you love cooking, cook something beautiful. If you, you know, it might mean that you, if you're in the southern hemisphere and you can swim, swim with dolphins, do something that connects you to your element, water. If you're in the northern hemisphere where it is particularly cold at the moment, maybe you need to go to a swimming bath and swim to connect with your element. Or maybe you just need to connect to, the image that's come into me now is crystals. You need to connect to crystals and think of the vibration and the frequency of crystals and the sounds that they make and the healing they can bring. So whilst I continue to wax lyrical for Pisces, and I see that I've been wittering on again for an hour, with suggested edits, but they will not be edited out, they will be in there. So, but I know you're used to me by now, and I bring it as it is. What you see is what you get, and that's me. But you know, my passion is astrology. I love doing this channel and making these videos so much. I get so much. This is my creativity. I get so much pleasure from doing these videos. And you know what also gives me more pleasure? Having sessions with you, the individual one-to-ones. I get so excited each time I meet one of you for the first time. I meet this wonderful, unique soul, this wonderful being of light. And you all bring something beautiful to my life in terms of the connection that we have. And, you know I've seen an awful lot of you over the last 3 years, but I may forget some of you on a surface level, but if you reconnect, I click straight back in. And it doesn't take long for everything to go click, 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 click. And then I remember the whole story and it all comes back. And I just want to say that because, you know, this is the last probably recorded video I'm going to do for 2023. And I am going to do a live on the 22nd in the evening for the winter solstice. And I am going to do my live week ahead, but on Saturday the 23rd of December, not on Sunday the 24th, because a lot of people celebrate Christmas on the 24th and it's just not the best time to do it. So it'll be on the 23rd, when you're all rushing around like mad, peeling potatoes and cutting Brussels sprouts into bits. So that's the kind of way things are going. And I will do a live for what is happening in January. So most of my videos at the moment are going to be lives. And because I'm awaiting surgery, I've kind of got to wait for a new kind of structure or schedule to come in that I can work with until I'm through that and out the other side. So I know you'll be patient with me. Thank you so much already for being patient with me. And thank you for being here. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, all those wonderful things. We've still got the buy the astrology course. I can't even remember what it is. Natal chart reading. How the beginner's guide to reading your natal chart is available on my channel, along with the lovely calendar that Andrea has designed, which is all the moon's phases for 2024, which you can buy, download and print. Now, Also, do remember to sign up to the website where you will now get a newsletter once a month. And most of the time it'll be me writing it. Sometimes if I'm not able to, it'll be Team Penny writing the newsletter. But I also want to say, if I can remember what I wanted to say, yes, that was it. The website now has a proper online booking system. Yes, I've left Jurassic Park, shed my dinosaur skin, and joined the 21st century. It's a bit difficult to let go of everything. It's like it's out of my control. But the volume of emails was getting too great and I couldn't keep up with them. And so there's a little bit of a bit of turbulence as we do the changeover for all of you to be using the calendar and booking system and the payment by Stripe online. But it is working because some of you who've already booked with me, there's no space available till March because I manually booked January and February. And as I said earlier, be prepared at some point. Some of you might have to have your sessions rearranged when I have the surgery, but do not worry about it. Team Penny will contact you and sort that out and make sure if you want a refund, we'll sort that out, or we'll rearrange your session. So I think that's all I want to say on the kind of business end of things. But thank you all for being such a wonderful support this year. You have all been absolutely friggin' awesome. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.